Hello, everybody. It's Phil Jacobus. It's September 1st. I'm at my home in Woodstock, New York. Today is a vacation day for me, so forgive me for being casual. Today, I'm going to be playing or sharing with you an interview that I recorded last week with Al Moretti. Al is a sort of a historical figure in our industry and a founding member of the Chicago Biomedical Association. He's a good guy, and I'm sure you'll enjoy that interview. But before we go to that pre-recorded interview, let's talk about several stories that are in today's healthcare business news online. One story is something that you've probably heard about and maybe talked about, how they sometimes have to use one ventilator for two patients. This is a very controversial sort of a thing, and this story goes into that. Another story while we're on the topic of ventilators is Philips had a big contract. We wrote about this with the US government to produce ventilators, but they've lost that contract, and the story behind that is there. So as always, there's interesting news on Healthcare Business News Online. It keeps you informed. And I encourage you to sign up for our online news. It's free, and it's something that I'm sure you'll enjoy and learn from. Hello and welcome. As promised, today I'm joined by Mr. Al Moretti. Al Moretti is a historical figure in our industry. Al, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Phil. My pleasure to be here today.
And Al, I think if I'm not mistaken, Al, I would say that your field is healthcare technology management, correct?
It is, yes, absolutely.
And I think you started in business in the 80s. Is that also correct?
That is correct. I will date myself. 1984 is the year I can point to as my entrance into what today we call healthcare technology management. And I guess I can say I'm in my starting my 36th year in the industry as a whole.
So that's a long time. You've seen a lot of changes over the years.
You know what? I've been privileged to see a lot and be involved with a lot, and I guess we can both agree to that. Wow, time has moved forward in very positive ways.
And for a time, you were in charge of an HTM, of a clinical engineering department. Is that right?
It was, yes. Worked in the academic arena for over 24 years. At Loyola University, Chicago. I also had a joint appointment as well with the Veterans Administration, Heinz VA Health System in Chicago as well.
So during that time, you've gone from B scanners to CT scanners.
Yes.
What are the big changes? The biggest change, I guess, is technology. Is that right?
Absolutely. Technology, I think as we use technology as a broad-based term, but the transformation of any of these equipments, if it's CT, if it's MR, if it's general radiography, patient monitoring, transformation of it being a IT device. Every piece of equipment now has some association to a network. And the transformation of the individuals, the professionals that service them now becoming what I call IT HTM engineers. That transformation to me, I think, is probably of many changes, probably the most driving force change of the HTM arena.
Now, I have participated in, or our company has attended and participated in the CEMI, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yes, Clinical Engineering Association of Illinois, CEAI, yes.
CEAI, and I think you were a founding member with that association.
I am one of the founding members, yes.
And that's now 10, 11 years old?
Well, it's interesting, and that time flies there too. We had our first grassroots meetings in 2006, 2007. We established ourselves as a full-fledged state organization, incorporated, articles of incorporation with the state. And we are now beginning our 14th year as an association.
And how is the pandemic impacting the association?
Absolutely. The association, like many other groups, have had to transform how they meet and meeting virtually. The CEAI just had its first virtual chapter meeting a little over a week ago. And I had the opportunity to be a participant at that chapter virtual meeting. There were over 53 attendees at the session. It was a 1 hour session. Had a great presentation there by a featured speaker. It was a great opportunity for the association to be able to pull the membership together and provide some, not only some camaraderie, but just again bring some networking and unity. So yeah, the pandemic, as we're seeing it, has changed how individuals are going to meet, conferences, meetings, business in general. This new virtual world that everyone is now by forced transformation having to move towards. I think folks are getting comfortable with it, and I think they're also really getting comfortable with the efficiencies as well.
Although, when you talk about socializing, when you talk about getting together 50 uh, biomedical or clinical engineering types
Right.
in a room with everybody with a beer in their hand, it's a different sort of camaraderie than can happen on Skype
It
or
is.
on Zoom, right?
No doubt. I mean, that personal interaction, you still can't beat that.
Now, the association, how do people help each other in the association? What you told me, if I remember once hearing you speak, there are some pillars of the association. What are those pillars again?
Yes. So, several, the promotion of education, the promotion of our next generation of HTM professionals is probably our greatest pillar, cornerstone. Promotion of the industry as a whole. Those are I'd say if we looked at those two alone, how do they help each other? Obviously, networking at conferences as we have annually in the past has been a big piece of that. The quarterly chapter meetings that the CEAI has and promotes has been another opportunity for folks to share knowledge, to share experiences, and to share opportunities as well. One of the greatest, I think, attributes I see come out of our chapter meetings many times is opportunities in the local market for new employment has been able to be shared at these chapter meetings. And we've had on many, many occasions, individuals find their next employer or their next employer opportunity through chapter affiliation or chapter association events. And so that's been a great thing to watch. For us too, we have had many students looking into the biomedical arena become uh, active members, student members, who have later become even more full-fledged members and actually active participants. So watching the next generation develop has been a great, I think, experience for myself and a privilege for so many in our association to be part of.
Yeah, I know that all of the associations around the country are concerned about uh, as older people retire, where are the younger people to help?
Yep.
And how is CEAI accomplishing that?
Well, again, I think it's a great question, and when we were part of developing the articles of incorporation, the bylaws, one thing that we felt was really strong and a really important factor was term limits of the officers within our organization. We felt it's important that there should be new blood. We want to promote new folks coming in and new individuals. And so that promotion is seen already since 2007. I want to say we've had five different administrations, which has had over 14 new leaders within the association at various levels. Um, using that as an example and how we've built upon that to, again, through scholarship, through getting our message and story out to local high schools and local junior colleges and other areas where young people are looking for career opportunities. we've used that as an avenue through the association to again build for the future.
Now, what about CME credits? Do
Yes.
does your does CEAI help its members get CME credits?
We do. You know, through our chapter meetings, participation, through our annual conference educations, we do provide training certificates or participation certificates so that individuals can submit those to their accrediting agencies for either CBET, CRES, different accreditation they may have to keep their CEU credits current.
So, what are your thoughts about the future, Al?
Wow, that's a great question. Depending on which future we're talking about, because we got lots of them, I think. But
Well, okay,
as I look at HTM, as we talk about HTM, you
right.
know, I'm always, to me, that's why I've enjoyed being in this. It's never been, everything's been an exciting moment and an upward moment. And, you know, even with the pandemic that we're all experiencing today and the changes we're seeing today, I see opportunity for HTM professionals to understand and identify the niches that get created out of new opportunities or new situations. And so as I look to the future, I see the HTM professional continuing to have not only great need across this industry that we work in today, but I think the ability to continue to elevate their worth and their abilities to patients in driving patient care to even better deliverables than what we've all experienced today. I look back in 1984 and I think about clinical interactions and clinical deliveries. And I look at what we do today, and I'm not saying that 1984 it seemed archaic, but when you look back that far and you look at what we do today, wow, the advancements were phenomenal. And I look forward, as I look forward, I think individuals in our industry have, you know, again, the ceiling is limitless for our people.
You know, in 1984, I think MR was just being introduced.
It
They,
was
the big deal was a .5 magnet. And as I remember, a CT scanner took a minute and a half for a complete rotation.
with one slice.
Yes.
And I can speak to that because in 1984 to 1987, I serviced GE 8800s and GE 9800s.
Yes.
And the light speed was just being spoken about. It's coming into the realm. And the whole idea of having multi-slice scanners was like having more than one slice, maybe two slices or a four slice.
And
Today we're talking about 256 and above. Really pretty mind-boggling when you think
it's
about
sub-second scanning.
it. Yes.
I remember the old floating point FPS 120B, the old array processor on a GE
Oh
8800.
yeah, it's yeah, that if that doesn't take you back and make you stop and ponder a little bit, it just shows you where we were, where we're at, and to me, I'm just excited to see where we're going.
Yes, yes, it's interesting for sure. You know, my mother-in-law is 102. I think you know, you've heard me speak of
Yes,
her.
I have.
When I think that when she was born, women were not allowed to vote.
Hard to believe. Hard to believe.
Well, Al, you are an icon in the business, and I'm honored to have you here. And I appreciate the time that you spend with us.
Well,
And
thank you, Phil.
keep up
I
the good
appreciate
work.
it. My pleasure. My pleasure. And again, thank you. And look forward to crossing paths with you real time sometime in the very near future.
Maybe with a beer in our hands.
I'm there for that. Thank you, Phil.